So turn off your television sets. Turn them off now. Turn them off right now. Turn them off and leave them off. Turn them off right in the middle of the sentence I'm speaking to you now. Turn them off.
Yeah, so hello everyone. We are here to discuss episode Quattro, episode 4 of
Part
True
4.
Detective Night Country. Part 4, excuse me, part 4, not episode 4. But before we get into that, D, how's it going?
Great. This lovely, lovely Tuesday. Today is Tuesday, right? Yeah. Lovely
Yeah, today is
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
I'm feeling great. Thanks for asking. How are you?
I'm doing fine. I'm doing
Okay.
fine. You know, we it feels like we have a lot to discuss, but also so little to discuss. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna start off with some comments. So um for context, if you are fired from your own show, I feel like your thoughts and opinions on the continuation of your show need to be taken with a grain of salt. But I'm going to share those comments. So, someone tweeted out, I really hope Matthew has enough respect for what you all did with season 1 to not show up to Night Country. Can't believe HBO did this. Heard that Russ' dad shows up in it as a ghost or something. Like what? And you know who responded?
Who
Good old
responded?
Nick Pizzolatto.
What
Nick
did Nick say?
Pizzolatto. And I certainly did not have input on this story or anything else. Can't blame me. And then he also said Matthew doesn't show up, nor would he. And then later, someone asked him, "What do you think about making the center of the show a facility in Alaska?" And his response was, "Haha, so fucking stupid." So I say that to say we asked the right questions in regards to if did he have any involvement with the show, and now we have our answer. Is it's an emphatic no. He had no involvement with this show at all. Just wanted to put that out there.
So explains the departure from season 1 to where we are
Yeah.
now. Like
Mhm.
it wasn't even a steady it it there were no breadcrumbs. Like it's cheap to say that the spiral kind of led to this because it didn't. Like that's the only thing at this point that's linking this season to True Detective at all. Like that's it. That and the fact that Russ' daddy is a ghost. But outside of that, this doesn't seem to exist within the same universe as the other 3 seasons of
Mhm.
True Detective.
So normally I start off by asking how did you feel about this episode, but I'm going to start off by asking a different question based on what you said. Um, so my take, I'm gonna add some fluff to this. So of course, my take on any art form is that it exists outside of consumption. Like for instance, like and y'all bug me on this all the time. Like I have stuff that I've like drafted that will never see the light of day, but I just did it for my own gratification, whatever. So that still in some form can be considered art, although it's not for consumption. So I want to say that first. But regardless of what type of art being made, whether it's a movie, whether it's a TV show, whether it's an album, I think you have to ask why isn't being made and why should it exist. So why does this why does this exist? D?
Again, I am a person who believes in art for art's sake. Like if you make something just for the simple fact that you have an idea in your head and you put it out because you like it, then I'm okay with that. I watch bad movies all the time. I
Mhm.
watch bad sitcoms. I watch stuff just to turn my brain off every now and then. I think the problem with this though is again, it's it's associated with True Detective. If this were a show by itself, I don't think I would have the same issues, but not really knowing how to watch it has been my biggest problem. And I know that's silly because people probably would say, well, you watch however you want to. I get that. But like not knowing if it's at all connected to what I've seen before, being that it's called True Detective, outside of that spiral is just baffling to me. And I don't know. So to ask why it's being made, I don't know. I guess because somebody had the idea and True Detective already has a following,
So yeah, I like actually
built-in audience.
agree. I agree with you and kind of like slightly disagree at the same time. Only in that, yeah, like basically this exists as a continuation of True Detective, and you. But the part I disagree, like, and this is like just my personal opinion, is like if this was just released as like Night Country, like you said, you would probably still watch it because you know how to watch it. But if I were just watching this show named Night Country without True Detective, um, which leads into what I want to talk about in this episode in particular, um, there's no story here. I'm sorry. There's
No, no,
no story here.
I don't know. Okay. I don't know if I wouldn't abandon this if it were just Night Country. Just
Oh, okay,
I don't
okay,
know. I don't yeah,
okay.
I don't know. I'm not sure. The only reason I say that I might even watch it because again, I'm gonna bring it up again because I watch Yellow Jackets. Um the difference in these two is that at least Yellow Jackets has a story outside of what else is going on, right? You got kids who were there's a story about them crashing, right? So the story is about them being abandoned in this place for however long. Night Country doesn't give us a story outside of really any what is the story? Like the scientists
Right.
are missing is the story, I guess. And but then it bleeds off into Annie, which then comes kind of back around to the scientists and the lab, and then the mine, and then the water, and then the one-eyed panda, and then the mental illness, and then Ennis being a place that's spiritual or maybe not. And it's just it's like it's all over the place, I guess. And it's going maybe that's the point. It's like it's going around and maybe it's going to meet in the middle in the end. I don't know.
Mm.
But with us having four, this is part 4, right?
4 or 6, yeah.
Having it at 4 episodes, 2 remaining, it just feels, I don't know. Like why does Hank's mail order bride matter to me? Why was that even a point of
Right.
the story? Like, you know what I mean? Why I guess her holding, like, did I miss that she had a son that passed? Did I just miss that whole thing, or did they
Oh
just
yeah,
kind of
yeah,
put it
yeah.
in there?
So because I want to bring that up with another point too, because I feel all right. So actually, before I go there, let me take a step back. From and by the way, I'm like no expert. I'm just a guy who watches a lot of TV. But from a storytelling standpoint, um, all right. So this is 6 episodes. So we can't. Is one extra than 5 because Act 3 is normally like your peak, and then you come down for a conclusion. But episodes 3 and 4, if that's the midpoint, was supposed to be your peak. And I think this was, but now that the peak, the climax has been revealed to me, like I'm like, there's nothing here because a lot of the things they established in this episode just simply did not land. And it was also callbacks to stuff that was poorly established, like the the son, her dad's son, Holden. We get like one mention of that. The fact that they had to do a flashback of like the German scientist so you would know who he was when we were in the caves. That's probably not because you mentioned breadcrumbs. Breadcrumbs weren't there about the sun. Breadcrumbs weren't there about the possibility of the German scientist being in the cave. So the establishment of these things also want to be very respectful of the subject, but it's hard for me to do that when I don't feel like the writers were respectful of this particular subject because I don't feel like I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't feel like there was a build up to a certain action that took place in this episode. It was kind of done poorly to like drive a character in a certain direction. And I kind of hate when that's done because there was nothing leading up to that. So yeah, a lot of things that happened, there were no breadcrumbs there. In order for there to be a payoff, you have to set it up. And they were just like, okay, we mentioned in episode 1. We did mention it again, but it all happened in episode 4. And that's just not effective storytelling. Like we're here on episode 4. I'm just like, what are we talking about here?
So in their defense, like you said, I also want to be respectful of it because I recognize that writing things that people will consume and critique has to be difficult. I respect anybody that can write and put art out. But with that said, you also have to, it's got to be good or it's got to make sense.
Yeah.
And maybe it's just me, like it might be me. This season might be blowing people away. But in their defense, they've shown that picture and that little scene of her and Holden before. Because I remember mentioning to you like I think it may have been even like you said, episode 1, when I said, well, didn't she have a one-eyed polar bear? But I missed that it was his. In my mind, for some reason, I thought that was Leah's stuff. Like I didn't put together that she had a child. She being Danvers had a child. I was thinking that was Leah's stuff in a box somewhere because that to me that's her child. I'm assuming that this child is Leah's brother.
So from what I gather in this episode is they specifically mentioned Leah's stepfather. So
okay,
I'm led to believe that Leah, of course, isn't Danvers' biological daughter. The stepfather, who Danvers was, I guess that was her last partner, passed away, and she had to take care of Leah. That's what I gather, at least, because they said she said something like your stepfather. So it's almost alluding to the fact like you're not biologically mine.
Well, she said too. She said you don't have to take care of me. Something my dad will understand. Or something. And you can say dad and it be your stepdad. Like I that's not lost on me. I do the same thing because I don't call my stepmother my stepmother. I just say whatever. But
well, no, excuse me. That's what I meant. Yeah. So Leah's father is her father, but Danvers isn't her mother. Like Danvers was her stepmother. That's what I was trying to say. Yeah.
So is the boy Leah's brother? Leah's half brother.
I don't think because I don't think there's any. I mean, I don't think there's any biological.
See, this is our problem. This is our problem. We're on episode 4 and we don't know any of this. See what I mean? Like,
right.
And it's okay if I missed it. Like, I'm not trying to say that I sit and I watch, but like I've watched each of these episodes with intention. And if I still missed it, that means it wasn't put there for us to see. Like sometimes you can hide stuff too well. And I'm not trying to sit and study the episode. I'm paying attention, but I don't want to have to sit and watch every second of it just to make sure that I saw like the detail and the attention they've shown to us, knowing that Hank has a wife from Russia that's supposed to be coming, and now we know she's scammed. That time could have been spent on something that seems to matter, because it seems like Holden matters in some kind of way because that's who Evangeline saw when she had a concussion. when he said, tell my mom whatever. And she still didn't tell her whatever he said to say. And it's just like, where are we going? Where are we going? And maybe that's just me being impatient. And again, the payoff could come. It could very well be coming around the bend. And I'll just have to say, thank goodness I just wasn't patient enough to see it. But at 4 episodes, I wish that I was enjoying it more than I am. Like, I don't hate it. I don't want people to think I hate it. I don't hate it. But I mean, it's just like, where are we going? What's we might as well start talking about it now, because like you said, the action that took place, it was lazy. It was
very lazy. I'm sorry. It was.
Mental health it works that way I can imagine, like that's how devastating it is, because somebody could be here today and you don't know they're dealing with whatever they have, and then they decide they don't want to be here anymore, and it's an action that's done and it's just over. So I'm not saying they should have showed us that she was going to do it. Like, they did lead us to believe that she had some issues and that she was going through some things, and that's fine. But for it to be done the way it is, when she went to get, like, if she was going to do that, why even go to the center at all? And why be at a place that's not a mental health facility, but it is? I think that's where most of the confusion. I don't know what that place was. Is it just a church?
So I'm going get to that too. But if this is your, all right, because basically, if I had to do this, then we know Evangeline is kind of our Russ Cole, and Danvers is like our Marty Hart. So we know Evangeline at any given moment can be like the loose cannon. So in order to like make her unstable, you have to set up some kind of emotional stakes. But this was, like you mentioned, it was so lazy that it doesn't really pay off, because I mean, yeah, it is a mental health facility, but it has voluntary admission. But I do know enough about mental health facilities to know that even if it's voluntary, you can't just walk out.
And it's not even that she, I think the thing that pissed me off the most, it's not even that she just walked out. He didn't even know she was gone. Like, it was almost like, well, I mean, maybe she's in there, maybe she's not. Like, you just, if you come to my home, I would know if you left my house, right? I would hope that I would know that you were no longer in my house, especially if I know you're sick or you're dealing with something or you're in an emotional state that is unstable. That's why you're here. So if I'm not here to offer you the help that you need, then why go there? There's no way Evangeline would have left her there if she did not think that somebody would be able to monitor her. She would have done it herself, right? Like,
but you know what annoys me the most about that particular scene? It's almost like you're using the dialogue of the characters in that scene to jump in front of the criticism that scene could bring, because Evangeline is almost like a stand-in for the audience, and she's like, you don't know who's coming in and who's leaving. Like, yeah, that's the same goddamn thing I'm asking, because like, that was a very
the girl was already deceased, and they had no, like, I don't know. I'm gonna let it go because I don't know enough about it, but I feel like I know enough even about voluntary holds to know that if I come to you saying I am feeling mentally distressed, I don't trust myself. I'm not to be trusted to be alone. That's why I'm coming here. That if you say, okay, you can come here, you need to be a place that is safe. Right? Like, that's the whole point. If I come to you, I'm like, hey, Ronnie, I don't trust myself to be alone. And you say, oh, okay, well, that's what this place is for. You come here. And then you just let me walk out. That doesn't make sense. It doesn't makes sense.
Because let
It
me ask you
doesn't.
this. Let me ask you this too, because we know that Evangeline gets the call that her sister walked out into the ice, but who made the call?
Coast Guard.
Coast Guard. That's right. That's right. That's right. Okay. Okay.
It was Coast Guard. And I'm like, okay. That was my other thing. I don't live in Alaska. It feels like they found her very quickly. However, I have to remind myself that it's night and it's always night. So she could have checked herself in at 8 a.m. and they didn't find her until, that night. So I'll that's fine. Like it looked like she walked out and then they called her, 10 minutes later, like, oh, by the way, we found your sister. But that could, it's very likely that it was hours later before, they saw her or whatever else. I did not like that she just happened to pass by the man and his friends that she'd arrested in episode 1, because again, what's the point? Like, why are we even was he written for this
Specifically for that moment?
This thing, like, what are we doing? I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Basically, I don't. All right. So, and this could go to the guy who was literally punched in the face, or the sister that walked. I don't like characters being established just so something can happen to them. In my opinion, that is not good writing.
It's not, because I don't know. All right. It didn't seem like he served any other purpose than for him to be the person that beat up the girl in the beginning, for her to arrest him, for her to come back around later, and for him to beat her up. Because again, they had to show the flashback to remind us, hey, don't forget, this is the dude from episode 1 that she arrested. Don't forget that part. And I don't know. She lost a tooth. She got beat up.
Want to get into some theories, because I feel like there's one that they might have like telegraphed that I was kind of thinking that I wanted to mention previously that I didn't, but Havoc is making my spidey senses go off. Yeah.
In a bad way?
Hmm?
Okay. I did not suspect him. So this is a theory that I can get behind, because
the stone that when the stone falls out of
Never.
his pocket, he was very curious about it. He was like, "What's this?" And like he was like, "Oh, this. You found this?" It's like,
Okay. See, I never would have suspected him, because he just seems so sweet, so nice,
also why he wants to know so much
so
about her.
innocent. I don't know, and he knew where what's his name? The other guy. He found him, right? What's his name? Sagog.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sagog.
Yeah. To God. Yeah.
Kind of over it, to be honest.
Who is by the way missing? I should say.
Everybody else is missing. You know where he is? He's where we all are, and where we are right now.
In the night country,
baby. Okay. Can we at least talk about? Oh, this is the other thing that kind of annoyed me. Peter Pryor. For the most part, they have made it seem that Peter and his wife seem to like each other very much. She was like, I fell for a white guy. How did I fall for a white boy? She seems to love the man. And then after he's been away from home on Christmas Eve, mind you, and he has a child, he seems to be confused at why his wife is angry, and then says that she should just say that she never wanted to be with him and she didn't want the baby. Where the hell did that come from?
Exactly. Like okay, if this is the start of a conflict, but to drop that, like, oh yeah, I know you never liked me anyway.
But it was very clear that she did. Are they trying to make us seem like, are they alluding to the fact that she was faking it for the sake of it, because the very first episode, they're all over each other. She was happy to
Yeah.
see him. You know, you don't do that with people you don't like. Like if you don't like somebody, it's pretty evident that you don't like them. And she was annoyed that he didn't give his son a bath like he promised. That's because you didn't do what you were supposed to do. You've been staying and watching the Corpsicle, so you haven't been around. It's around Christmas, so I'm assuming she's probably doing all the Christmas shopping and everything else. Plus, she's in school and she's raising her son. And it's Christmas Eve again. You don't show up, but when Danvers calls, you'll jump off a building. That would make anybody upset. So I don't see how we
Yeah.
put these two things like that. Just
Yeah.
it felt like it came out of nowhere. I'm just like, wait a minute,
Yeah.
have I not been paying attention? What is
Yeah, because
happening?
like I said, if this were just like the start of a conflict, then sure. But to try to say like, oh, they were never good the entire time, I'm like, but you didn't show that.
He was upset with Danvers when she said, remember, she said, you taking my man
Mm.
again? So I'm like, what? All right. Well, so now she never wanted Darwin and she never wanted to marry him. Okay. And but she even said, I didn't marry a cop. I married, you weren't a cop when I married you. So that's two different things. I don't know. Okay, whatever. Go ahead. And Danvers slept with everybody's husband. Again, I don't see why that point is in there either. It's just so many things that seem unnecessary. But like I said, maybe they all have a point. And they're just trying to show us her character. Maybe. I don't know.
I guess.
Whatever.
But like I said, this episode was so confusing because there were moments where like this we were supposed to get the setup for the final episodes, but nothing really happened. And then I guess let's go to the end of the episode where they find can't remember the German scientist's name, but we're in the night country now. Um, and he's wearing the
Ice.
jacket, and then yeah,
Ice.
and then
Otis.
Evangeline is like, yeah, Evangeline, yeah, Otis Vice, yeah, and then
Heist.
Evangeline
His
is
heist. Yeah.
yeah, Evangeline is like sitting like and like blood is coming out of her ear, like
So I looked at
so
it
in my
because I just wanted to see what could cause your ear to bleed like that. And it's a busted eardrum or uh I guess head trauma. So maybe I don't know. I was just wondering if fright could do it, but go ahead. Just want to see if it fit anywhere, but I don't think it does. Go ahead.
so we clearly know that Evangeline sees the dead, and this was before. So because also in this episode, like it goes back to the flashback of when they raided the guy's house. I can't recall his name. My apologies, but yeah, she saw something then. So we can't explain it away now with like she fell and bumped her head. Like we know that she like sees things,
Mhm. Was that the same
but
girl?
yeah, yeah.
I think it was the same girl. I was just
Mm.
asking. I think it's the same girl. But go ahead.
But the,
What? You just seem so lost.
I know, like because it's like, excuse me, excuse me, but this feels a lot like our. I've been trying not to say this, but this almost kind of feels like a. I don't know. It kind of feels like a, and not like a like for like situation, but it feels very much like a Save Martha situation where it's like you you've been holding your cards because you think you got like a big hand, and then you put the hand on the table, and you're like, oh, this ain't it. This is what you've been holding back. It's like you pull back the curtain, and there's like nothing behind the curtain.
They still haven't talked about the mine, the miscarriages, the water, um,
The spiral.
Rose popped up again for what? I like Rose, but
Mhm.
for what? What was why? Why do we go to Rose's house on Christmas Eve and her looking all dolled up and great with all this nice whole spread? What was the point of that interaction? What was your takeaway from that conversation with Rose? What'd you get from it? Other than she used to be a scientist, a professor, and then she decided she
Yeah.
didn't want to do it anymore. What else did you pull from that?
If I have to like squeeze, is that
Yeah, please.
in this is a place. It like I said earlier, and this is almost like the end of the world. So it's a place you go when you just want to escape everything. Because she said,
To
"Yeah, I had a
Alaska?
past life before." Yeah, she said, "I
See?
had a
Okay.
past life before this." Like, but because yeah, I feel like what it's trying to tell us is certain type of people are drawn to end this.
Okay. Okay. All right. Whatever. I'm with you. Okay. So Otis is just in this place, in this cave, doing meth.
Yeah, he was.
That's his Christmas tree. He put up the Christmas tree.
Yeah, yeah, he was on the dog
People,
food. No, just fine. No, I'm
people,
sorry.
people who do meth, and this is pure ignorance, and this is not me stigmatizing anybody, but people that do meth are functional. They function normally. Like you
But
can be
see,
a functioning person who
I
does meth.
see, I don't, I don't quite know what that was, but I think I
I would
know
say
what
maybe
that
it wasn't
was.
meth.
And yeah, yeah, and that seemed like something
Hair
that
on.
could be. Yeah, that seemed like some downers to me, not no uppers. But
Well, that's what I'm
yeah,
saying. So like, and is he not blind in that one eye?
yeah, he is.
So it would one would make the assumption that Otis has some sort of mental trauma because they said he scratched his eye out, if I'm not mistaken, and he was also found in the ice or something to that nature. Otis,
Yeah, yeah. So I guess
similar
if we had
injuries,
to
they said.
guess, I guess if we had to guess, like he's seen the night country.
What
He's
the
seen like the
What is the night country? Like I almost cussed. I'm sorry. What is the night country? Like what it is I didn't realize it was like a character. I thought, and you can it might be my ignorance. It's fine. I don't care at this point. I thought the night country was Alaska right now because there is no
yeah.
light.
So
I
did
didn't
I.
realize
But
that this was something else. It's like almost a whole other entity or
yeah,
environment or setting.
yeah, I'm sure it's some literary reference, kind of like how Carcosa was. But
Well, they didn't tell me to do it at home. I didn't get the prerequisites.
yeah, and mm, yeah, it's just not here. It's not connecting. It's not because
They have 2 episodes to make something happen. Like they got to make something shake in 2 episodes, and I don't see how. We get to see early because they dropping it Friday, which is smart because Super Bowl and all. But like,
they need to both of them.
so the finale is during All Star Weekend. Yes, in All Star Weekend.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So they might drop it early again. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe they don't care about All Star Weekend. The point is, there are 2 episodes left. Um, I don't know anything about Holden. I don't know what happened to Holden. I don't know what happened to Leah's dad. Maybe he and Holden were in the car together. Because again, I do remember her stepping on glass and like having a weird reaction. So
Mhm.
maybe Holden and Leah's dad, which could be also Holden's dad, were in an accident and they died together. Um, I'm making assumptions. I don't know what's gonna happen to Evangeline now, because she's saying it takes us one by one. So now that it's taken her sister, assume that she's just going to succumb to it, whatever it is. I don't know, man. I don't know. Is that her mom she saw under the bed?
I guess I don't know.
Well, it was the
I
cross,
don't.
so I'm assuming it was her mama, right? She
Yeah,
saw the cross.
yeah. I remember seeing the
All
cross,
right,
but
man.
I don't know.
Okay. All right. All right. Okay.
Yeah, so
Oh.
I'm gonna say this. Like,
I don't
I've
have the
never.
brain capacity. It's okay. Like y'all can tell me, you got to have a certain level
No, no, no,
of
no, 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 no,
mental
no, 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 no,
fortitude
no, no,
or
no,
smart or
no,
intelligence to watch
no,
this show, and I don't
no,
have it. It's fine. That damn Auburn
no,
education. Tell you the
no.
truth.
Well, you are right about that. But
Mm-mm, mm-mm, mm-mm.
as I was saying,
Don't do that. Don't do
um,
that.
as
Mm-mm.
I was saying, yeah, you'll be a lost cause if you didn't go to Ramsey. But
Shut up.
as I was saying, I've never been in this territory before where because you know my motto, like there's too much on TV to endure a bad show. But this has been so confounding that I'm like, I gotta know what this is going like
You
this is
gotta
going
see it through.
somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Like so
Yeah.
yeah, I unfortunately I am tethered to this to the end. I gotta see it through, but
Mhm.
unfortunately I am not enjoying it. And yeah, and I just want, issue this to the listeners. Like we've never been ones to because yeah, there is like a lot of hot takey stuff out there, and that's like never have been our brand. So we want you to know that when we talk about something, we reach a place that we're like no longer on board. It took us a lot to get there because we try to be fair in our assessments. Like we don't try to we don't run on the binary of like, oh, this is trash, this is fire, whatever. Like we try to be, fair. So if we're saying that this is we're out on this, then know that we try to give it every shot in the world. But let us know what you think. Um, I mean,
Are
there's no
people
right or wrong.
watching?
If you like it, cool. I don't know. I don't know.
I just I don't know if it's like because sometimes I like to search the hashtag and I don't know if it's because they're doing night country or the whole thing or whatever else. But it doesn't seem like it's getting a lot of but then again it's the app's not what it used to be, so that could be a part of it too. But I don't know.
Yeah.
I wonder if people are actively consuming it. Especially since it's
Elon,
weekly, like you think that'd be
Elon is hiding the truth. Yeah.
he probably is. I don't know, but I don't know, Ronnie. We in it now though. We in the night country. We're here.
I just googled the well not googled. I just typed in the True Detective hashtag, and the first tweet I see is week after week I turn on True Detective for no reason at all.
So it ain't just us. That ain't come from the
Yeah,
KWC blog. That wasn't me.
no, but
That
but
wasn't
yeah,
us.
like I said, let us know what you think. If you like
Gowns.
it, state your reasons why. If you dislike it, let us know that too. But yeah, just let us know what you think, how you feel.
Beautiful.
Um,
Beautiful
let us know what you're
gowns.
watching. Yeah.
Lovely gowns.
The gown's not even beautiful. The gowns aren't beautiful this time around. I'm sorry. But
We here. We'll be here at least 2 more weeks. You get to see us.
yeah. Severance, please hurry up. But yeah, until next
Please.
time.
Peace.
Peace.